Welcome to the Well Woman Coaching Podcast, where faith meets wellness and women rise into healing and wholeness. I'm your host, Alexis Crisp, certified Christian life coach, fitness trainer, and nutrition educator. Our foundational scripture for this podcast is 3 John chapter 1 verse 2. Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. However you showed up today, tired, thriving, or somewhere in between, I'm glad you're here. Let's be well, women together. Today we are talking about fiber and vegetables. I am passionate about eating our correct servings of vegetables for the day for optimal health and longevity. For reference, that is 5 to 7 plus servings for the day. Vegetables are God's natural medicine. This is going to be part one of a two-part series. And in part one, we are going to explore why vegetables are the most powerful way to get fiber. We'll also talk about how vegetables work to support your body and scripture that points us back to the garden as the foundation of our health. I want to make sure you come back for part two because we are going to go deeper into fiber's role in healthy bowel movements. That's right, we are going to talk about number two in part two. And you know what they say, if you don't go, you don't glow. Now let's go deeper. The scripture for this episode is Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, which says, Then God said, I give you every seed bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. This is very clear right from the beginning that God designed vegetables and plants to fuel us. They're to give us energy, not just to be side dishes. This is like the main event based on what scripture is saying. We want to eat life giving foods that are filled with fiber, vitamins, and all of the minerals that we need to keep our bodies going strong and also our minds clear. First, what is fiber? Fiber is a type of carbohydrate, and we need this as part of our daily nutrition. We have two main types of fiber. There is the soluble fiber, and that's what's going to dissolve in water. I have been juicing for a little over 5 years now, and the soluble fiber is what is being extracted out of the juice. This helps to lower your blood sugar and cholesterol. The next type of fiber is insoluble fiber, and that is the bulk. That would be the pulp that's coming out of the juice. The insoluble fiber is what adds bulk to your stool, to your bowel movements. It helps the waste to move through your digestive tract for proper digestion. It is super, super important for our health that we are getting the right amounts of insoluble and soluble fiber in for best nutrition. Why does this matter? Because science shows that fiber supports our digestion. It helps to prevent constipation. We don't want waste just accumulating, piling up inside of us. It's going to promote your regular bowel movements, which again we'll get into in part two. And it also helps to balance your blood sugar. Why does it help balance your blood sugar? Because it slows down glucose absorption. It also helps to prevent energy crashes and cravings that we all deal with. So those cravings you're getting, in the late afternoon, if you're getting enough fiber, you can decrease those instances. Fiber also supports your heart health. Studies show that soluble fiber actually helps to lower your LDL cholesterol. And for those who don't know, the LDL, the one that starts with L, is the one that is typically called bad cholesterol. A good way to remember this is L for lethal. Another reason fiber is good is because it feeds your gut microbiome. That's your gut health. For anyone who has not heard about your gut health or microbiome, I encourage you please to look these things up. You are going to crave what you're eating. So the more vegetables you take into your daily nutrition, the more you are going to crave vegetables. And that is the experience I had when I started juicing. I did not change anything about what I was eating. I simply just started adding in that soluble fiber extracted from the juice. And over time, I actually desired to eat vegetables more. Think of your stomach like a garden, and what you feed it is what is going to grow and what it's going to request more of. So, if you're putting a lot of processed foods, sugary snacks, and drinks in, that's what you're going to be in a cycle of wanting more and more. When you start throwing in good things, juicing, vegetables, then your stomach is going to say, hey, this is what we're doing. Okay, great. Let's get more of this in. And you would be surprised how you can start to recalibrate what you are desiring simply by making that change. One of the great things about fiber and changing your gut health is that it's reducing inflammation. And a big thing for me is that it helps your mental state. Nutrition has been a huge, huge factor in helping to keep my mental health in check. There is a gut brain connection, and studies do support this. Fiber helps us to feel full. This way, we don't always want to eat something. When you have a balanced meal and a good nutrient dense meal that has the right amount of fiber in it, you're getting fiber for the day, you're going to feel full and not constantly want snacks. How many vegetables should we be eating? This is 5 to 7 plus, as I mentioned, 5 to 7 plus servings for the day. The surprising thing is that most of us don't actually know how much fiber we should be eating for the day, and we're not getting that much. Women need to get about 25 grams of fiber for the day, and the reality is most of us are barely getting 15. Armed with this information, knowing that 25 is the goal, my prayer for you is that knowledge is power, awareness is key. So now that you know 25 is the goal, you can start to plan your meals and snacks around reaching this goal. What are some ways that we can start to bring more fiber into our daily nutrition? Let's start with broccoli. Broccoli is going to be about 5 grams per cup. This is a great way to boost up your fiber for the day. I like to put it in the air fryer with some olive oil and a little bit of onion powder and garlic powder seasoning and put it on a bed of lettuce. So that's breakfast for me. And already I've had 3 servings of vegetables. Another good one are Brussels sprouts. That's 4 grams per cup. Another one is carrots. Carrots would be 3 grams per cup. We know that carrots are good for our eye health. They're also good for our gut health and digestive system. I do have a personal testimony about carrots and my vision improving as a result of me juicing. Carrots are also going to be good to help lower your blood sugar. Green leafy vegetables are another vegetable we should absolutely have. You're getting 2 grams per cup in your green leafy vegetables of fiber. If you are new to the podcast, new to hearing me speak, you may not know my testimony about how changing my nutrition has completely transformed my health. By decreasing inflammation and getting all of these vegetables into my system, I have rid my body of menstrual cramps. So I haven't had menstrual cramps in over 5 years. I no longer need to take ibuprofen. There's no discomfort. I feel nothing at all. And that is because I have decreased inflammation in my body. Menstrual cramps are inflammation. That's why it's important that we're getting enough fiber. By eating the way God intended for us to eat, we are going to have better health and decrease inflammation. Inflammation is just wreaking havoc in our health, and the symptoms are different for everyone. Me, inflammation looked like cystic acne, unstable mental health, having a lot of anxiety, depression. Eczema is another one. These were all of the symptoms that I had as a result of inflammation in my body. And who knows what would have been in store for me if I did not grab hold of my health and start to make a change. It's really important to me that we just collectively prioritize our gut health and making these better food choices so that these inflammatory conditions don't continue to wreak havoc and take over our lives and our families and steal our energy. And it limits us from walking out our purpose. I want to always give you practical ways to do this. Again, I'm mentioning the air fryer. It's very simple. Just a tablespoon of olive oil over your serving of vegetables. Sprinkle a little bit of seasoning. Please don't go crazy with the salt. We want to actually taste our food. That's going to help to recalibrate your taste buds as well. Put it in the air fryer for 10, 11 minutes or so. I like to put red onion in as well. And then in the summertime, I have a lot of salad, spring mix, the 50-50 blend, all those different salad mixes. And I put my food on to the bed of the lettuce. So I don't really eat cold salads unless I'm out somewhere and that's what's available. When I'm preparing my meals at home, I have those air fried vegetables that I put on top of the lettuce. That makes the salad more interesting, more flavorful, and I don't use salad dressing. The air fried vegetables acts as the flavoring for the lettuce. And then I add a protein to that. It could be 3 fried eggs, tofu, sauteed salmon, cod, beef, bison. I eat all protein, so I have a wide variety of options available. But based on what your needs are, what you prefer, I highly recommend having protein on top of your vegetables. If you want some inspiration, I recommend following me on Instagram. You can follow me at alexis.crisp on Instagram or at Well Woman Coaching. And I do share some of the meals that I'm making, and often tell you how long it took to make. These meals don't take more than 15 minutes to make. Just a rough chop of vegetables, throw it in the air fryer. I'm typically washing my dishes while these things are air frying, and then I sit down to have my meal. I try to be as efficient with my time as possible because just like you, it seems like it takes a lot of time and energy to do the food prep and planning and all of these things to have a healthy meal, and I don't want time to be a hindrance to me living my best healthiest life. So that is my recommendation on the vegetables. Another thing I have been doing recently is adding in vegetables as a snack. You can have carrot rainbow, the little baby rainbow carrots as a snack. I get the carrot chips because they remind me of potato chips. And I try not to eat potato chips as they are not beneficial for my health. So I get the effect and the crispiness and the crunch of potato chips, but I've just replaced it with carrots. We don't want to focus on what we don't have. I can't eat this and I can't eat that. We want to focus on what's beneficial for my health. Carrots are beneficial for my health. That's going to be my snack. I have carrots with the hummus and it's been quite enjoyable. If you do enjoy raw broccoli, peppers are another good one that you can have and dip into hummus for a little bit of flavor. These are great ways to add more fiber into our nutrition. Another thing to consider is your breakfast. What are you having for breakfast? Breakfast for me, as I said, is protein and vegetable. I do not want to sit down at a meal. If the goal is for me to have 5 to 7 plus servings of vegetables for the day, and I have 3 or 4 meals for the day, if I sit down for breakfast and there's no vegetables on my plate, then I've essentially wasted 1 out of 3 meals. as an opportunity to reach that goal for the day. So let's be strategic and intentional about our nutrition, because God certainly was very intentional when he gave us the instruction in Genesis chapter 1 verse 29 of what we should be eating. So let's take that same level of intention into our meal uh, grocery shopping, meal planning, and preparation. Again, I want to remind you that the goal is 5 to 7 plus servings of vegetables for the day. Fiber can also be found in fruits. I'm not generally ever coaching and trying to get people to eat fruits because we're already eating them. They're sweet, and the reality is we're already eating fruits. You don't need me to recommend fruits to you. Most people have 2 or 3 favorite fruits that they're eating. The recommendation for fruits is 2 to 3, period, not 2 to 3 plus. It's 2 to 3 servings of fruit for the day. So yes, you can get fiber from, you can and you should get fiber from fruit, especially from the skin of an apple. Yes, but what my focus is getting us all to eat more vegetables. That's where I have found that the coaching, guidance, encouragement, and ideas need to happen is in the area of eating vegetables. So that is my focus. I want to wrap up by giving you a challenge to keep track of the amount of vegetables you're eating. Take the next 3 days and just keep track of, jot down on a little post-it note so that you know where you're at in terms of your fiber for the day. Hey, maybe you're already getting that 25 grams and that's fantastic. Then share this message with a friend who is not. If you're already doing great, fantastic. Keep in mind we can always do better. I just recognized a way that I can up-level my vegetables by adding in more snacks. Instead of snacking on dried fruits and prunes and those sorts of things, because that's more sweetness and more sugar, I decided I can add in carrot chips as a snack into my nutrition for the day. So keep track, see where you're at with your vegetables, and then add in more. Add in 1 serving of vegetables at each meal, one more than you're already doing. If you're having 1 serving, add in one more. If you were to have 2 to 3 servings of vegetables at every meal, I almost promise you that at your next doctor's appointment, even just in your next week, you're going to find your bowel movements are better, your sleep is better, your mood is better. You're going to see changes in how you're living as a result of having more vegetables, less processed foods, and more vegetables in your diet. If you're having issues with cravings and just your eating in general, add more vegetables. That is the key. Share your progress with me. I love to know how everyone's doing so we can keep each other encouraged. You can leave comments on where you are with your fiber intake, what vegetables you're adding in. If you have any suggestions on ways to add more vegetables so that we can all be healthier together, please do that. Remember to tune in next week for part 2, where we are diving into how fiber directly impacts your bowel movements. That is going to be part 2 on the number 2 of fiber. Keep in mind that if things are not moving smoothly in your digestive tract, it's probably going to be hard for you to be fully moving smoothly and at your best out in the world. It's important information, and I want us all to take it seriously. Thanks for joining me on the Well Woman Coaching Podcast. Subscribe, share, and leave a comment and review. You can visit wellwomancoaching.net for more resources. Follow me at Well Woman Coaching on Instagram. Remember our scripture, 3 John chapter 1 verse 2. Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. Until next time, let's stay anchored in faith, rooted in wellness, and yes, let's keep things moving.